Hey there, everybody. This is going to be a kind of a rushed video slightly. This was kind of video somebody had said a couple times I was going to record because I was trying to explain certain aspects of the game to a couple people, and trying to do it verbally or over chat or something like that just doesn't pan out all that well. So, a couple of things. Number one, I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone and cover multiple topics. So the first thing was the fishing part of it. And right now I'm on a PVE server and I'm at a camp house, camp and hunting and fishing camp. Speak English, hunting and fishing camp that is owned and operated by myself and some of our buddies, some of my buddies, our buddies, whatever. And this is kind of where we come to kick back and relax. All of us in real life are pretty avid for outdoorsy types, hunting, fishing, and whatnot. I don't get the chance to get out into that type of environment in the real life very often. So part of the reason why this is so rushed is because I'm trying to get ready to take off for the weekend to go do exactly that. So, but I had said it, and I really like this game and like to help promote it in any way that I can. I'm not a streamer, I'm not a gamer. And then in the process of fumbling around on Twitch, I noticed a couple people and drummed up conversation about hunting and I'm sorry, fishing and stuff, and was trying to explain all this. So I figured I'd put something together because, like I said, it doesn't pan out very well. So since this is our hunting and fishing camp, this is our tackle box. Um, and the way I set my rods up, we all have our rods here, all of our different accoutrements that go along with it. Just gonna go with a standard meat fish, 25 mil line. This is supposed to be the pro reel, but it doesn't specify whether it's the pro or the regular, so it's one or the other. I prefer these, excuse me, floats to anything else. I always go with the treble hooks. So the easiest way for this fishing thing is just get out and get to it. Let's jump over to first person. Um, So one of the things about fishing in Scum is it's fairly nuanced. It is fun. It can be a royal pain in the butt, though. If you're not sure, or it kind of gets frustrating, especially if you're in an environment where you don't have a lot of things. So before I even started fishing, we just decided we'd gather up a bunch of supplies before we even started dicking around with this. And so hence the bait and tackle shop back there. So as I've said, you've got your fishing hook already set up, fishing line's already tacked out, everything's good to go. Um, Normally, this is pretty good for the Amur fish. There's also usually a pretty ripping current from right to left, from what is that, the west over there? Yeah, the west to the east. So let's just get to it. So I usually don't let it go all the way out. Um, and I always have such a there it is, pain in the butt finding it. Now, as it's fishing, you can see the current's already taking it. If I just stop doing anything, you can see that the current's just taking it as it goes. At this point, pulling back on the mouse wheel rolls your stuff in, rolls your reel in. If you go back out, that gives you slack, and you'll kind of see it pause and hesitate there. If you touch shift, it'll kind of jigger the bobber just a little bit. And if you hold shift while you're reeling in, it comes back in at Mach 2. Um, I don't know if this is a glitch. It seems like it's a glitch to me, but you can never reel the line completely in. So if you go V for Victor on the keyboard, that brings you back in. Check that our bait's still good. Um, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this if I don't catch anything. I've got some carp steaks and fillets already back up there in my bag, so I can jump right to the cooking side of it. But I figure that bird just flew right into the water. Um, if I don't catch anything right off the bat here, I can jump over to it. I've also got some bleaks as bait. I can flip over. I'll try that a couple of casts on that and see what we get. There we go. All right, so left click. I'm rolling back on the thing. This is going to be a small fish. Yeah, he's barely worth mentioning. So another quick thing, if you move at any point, if you move your character at any point, you'll end up with a fish stuck in your hands. I don't know who to give credit to for that. I'm sorry. I watch a couple streamers and YouTubers myself. Ray Kid is one. Mr. Feudal is another. Archangel is on Twitch. He's part of the Feudal community. Um, Feudal's community is very robust and lively and funny as all hell. Great bunch of guys, people, not just guys, there's girls in there to be around and to interact with. If you move at all, once you have the fish in your hand, in other words, you hit AWD or S at all, you'll end up with the glitch where you end up with a fish stuck in your hand. So the only way to get rid of that is to log and come back in, and then of course the fish disappears. But as you can see, this fish has been in my hand for a while, and if I release him, Shazam, he's back to nature. So I'm going to grab one of my bleaks out of my bag here. I keep a backpack kind of just for hunting and or fishing and cooking. It helps keeps things a little bit organized. And if I throw this out, now I don't know if you saw the floater bob down there, but as a fish grabs onto it, you have to, as in real life, set the hook, and that's done with the left mouse button. Once you set the hook, you're going to have the gauge pop up on the right-hand side, and you'll see a blue column go up and down. The goal there is to keep that out of the red zone, off the red line. If it goes into the red line, it will snap. And the only way to do that is by putting some tension back out. There we go. We got a hook. So immediately goes to the top. So now what I'm doing here is I'm kind of reeling back, and as soon as I touch it, I'm kind of jiggering back and forth. My mouse clicks, so I can basically keep this up all day long. All right, the fish do not tire out in Scum, according to the developers. So now what I'm doing here, and the trick is I'm using shift, and I'm rolling back, and it hits the red line. I give one click with no shift into release the tension, and that'll help basically bring it in. It's not perfect, but it works. If I keep doing that, and shift, bring it in, release the shift, give him a little bit of slack. Shift, bring him in, let go of the shift, give him some slack. And if I keep doing that, eventually, if I keep the timing right, I can, and I didn't want to do that because I hit the shift with a, so shift, reel in, let go, and Shazam, there he is, 5 pounds. I was probably babbling a little bit during that because I was kind of watching it. I'm not an expert at this, but obviously the proof is in the pudding here. Shift basically reels in faster. So you want to take in more than you're giving away. And as soon as that fish hits, as I'm hitting the left mouse button, I'm usually already rolling slack just to be safe. Once I get it in there, I can see what I'm dealing with, but it's all instantaneous. Now, once you have the fish on the hook, you can basically hold shift, do a click or two back on the mouse, and immediately let go of shift, and you're going to redline. On a carp like this at 5 kilos, you're going to redline. Let go of the shift, give a couple of clicks, 1 to 2 clicks. Again, my mouse that I'm running, I have a selector switch where I can have it freewheeling, or it actually works with little detentes in there, or clicks. I keep it on the clicks just for stuff like this. Again, also keep in mind, watch my character. I'm not moving, so I'm going to test this whole theory with getting stuck with a fish in my hand. I take a shift and roll back, hits the red line, let go of the shift, 1 click worth of slack. Let it kind of normalize out a little bit. If I need to, I'll go with another click. You'll see the power indicator or the tension indicator drop down. Once it hits down to about halfway or even lower, hold shift and just as many clicks as I can get away with, and grab it back in. Let go of the shift, give them some more slack to get rid of the red line, and you saw it. It came in. That's kind of really the trick to it. That's what I found. Now this is a 5.7K carp. If you go at night at our base camp, at our main base camp, which is back over here in Charlie 3, probably keypad 7, right here on this lake. We've got a really nice little base camp set up over there. That's our home and everything else. The whole Pimp Mac Daddy double 2-story cabin and all that jazz. And we've got the docks built out. We got the foundations built out into the water a little bit, so that we can basically have a cabin that literally sits on the water. Fish there at night, and we were landing 8.5, 9 pound, 9 kilo. Sorry, damn metric system. 8.5, 9 kilo catfish a few nights ago. So this is, crap, and I just moved. And I was able to keep it though. Okay, so apparently moving the mouse around you can get away with if you take a footstep in any direction. That's where you get into trouble. All right, so this carp is actually a little too big for my, oh, okay, so he's not. Okay, make a liar out of me. I'm going to drop that carp in there. And you can see I've got a few deer meats, deer steaks that were already here. Um, all of the guys on our squad tend to be a little bit on the OCD side, so we have a wardrobe that's set up for ice. We call the ice chest. That has all of our raw meat and legs and torsos and everything else. As we get low on meat in the meat locker wardrobe, we go to the ice chest, pull something out, chop it up, cook it, Shazam, throw it back into the meat locker, and then everybody is kind of communal amongst our squad. So let me go back to third person here. Walk my happy ass back over here. Again, everybody's a little OCD in our squad, so try to keep things nice and nifty and organized and all spiffy looking. All right, so on to the fishing thing. All right, so one thing we kind of learned early on is putting this grill directly over the fire ring always ends in tears. And then the other thing we've also kind of learned is right now the idea of cooking is really kind of a bragging rights, so to speak. There doesn't really seem to be a huge difference in the meat that you eat when it's raw versus meat that you eat when it's cooked. And the same thing goes for off, slightly cooked, slightly fooked, whatever they want to call it. It's more of just a matter of pride. It's something that we couldn't figure out, so it was kind of sticking in my back of my head, so I wanted to figure it out. And I think we've found a pretty good method of doing that. So if I do I have a lighter on me? Yes, I do have a lighter. So since this fire has burned before, if I try to light the fire, nothing works because it's all burned out. So by taking and holding F, I can put a small log, and I'm going to go ahead and put another small log in there. And then at this point, I can light the fire. Shazam, we've got a fire lit. Now the sticks are here for basically heat. And one of the things I always try to explain is that this fire has a radius around it. And as you move stuff closer, whether it's on the grill, in the snow, in the dirt, whatever, as you move closer, if this fire is hot, the closer you get, the more the meat will heat up. And if the fire is already, like here, you'll see this fire ring is, I was wondering, I hadn't seen these in a while, I hadn't seen these drones in a while. As you move closer to the fire, it'll get hotter. But if your fire is at the point of burning down, and I think the way it works is if it's, burning phase or burning stage 1 of 10, it's still a fresh fire. If it's 9 of 10, it's close to burning out. And so anyways, as you have this fire, for some reason it's not showing me. Oh, there we go, burning phase 5 of 10. Okay, so that means it's kind of a medium fire. So at this point, if I pull one of these deer steaks out and I lay it right here on the grill, okay, the whole trick is not throwing a bunch of stuff up there all at once. I'm going to go to first person so this is a little bit easier to see. And if I do a check taste, bam, it's warm. I come back over here, I'm going to rotate this puppy around a little bit, and I'm going to move it about there. Usually what I tell people, the idea I've worked off of is don't move any more than the distance of the width of the steak. And that seems to work good. But if you've done it a couple of times and once you get it down to an art, you can kind of get a feel for it. Of course, I picked the damn thing up. And you fat finger keyboard, so I'm going to put it about right there. Check taste. We're still warm. Move this right over the fire. Check taste. I'm still warm. So if you have a situation like this, I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way out to the end just to see if that's too much. And listening is another thing. You'll actually hear the tones change a little bit. Now it's still showing warm. So when that happens, come back over here, fill with a small stick. The whole trick is getting the whole thing set up to begin with. Okay, so now we're showing hot. So at this point, we are in business. I can throw another one here on the Barbie, throw another one here on the Barbie, and this one here, and this one here. So now at this point, if I keep checking these, this was the first one I put on, we're hot raw, we're warm raw, so I may need another small stick. Warm raw, and then these will probably be raw as well, or warm as well. The whole thing that you really want to keep a check on is number one, that taste, and these percentages right here. That's the whole trick to it. And let's see, bundle of wooden sticks, uncraft. So Shazam, I'm gonna throw a small wooden stick in the fire. And I'm gonna keep a listen on this to see where I'm at, and I'm gonna check the taste. So now we're hot raw, warm raw. This is still warm, and this is still warm, which is fine because these puppies here will probably be the ones that'll cook. And because these are deer steaks, these are also fairly large steaks comparatively speaking. Now I can throw another small stick on there. In fact, let's just do that now. Small wooden stick. I just have to keep an eye on not doing dumb crap like that. I just have to keep an eye on these percentages, and I'm staying right around the 99 to 98%. Check taste, hot raw. Still showing warm raw on that one. Check taste, hot raw. These will probably be warm too. All right, so in that case, it seems to be a little glitchy, so I usually pull it away, pull it out here, and then pull it up a little bit closer like that. But if you try to just move these a little small amount, it doesn't always work that way. So usually how I do it is I'll move them just a little bit away and then bring them back. And again, the whole trick to this is we're still warm raw, is keeping these an eye on these puppies. So we got hot on that one. We got a hot on that one. Did this one up its game a little bit? It's still showing warm. So it kind of tells you that right on this edge here is our heat radius, and everything here is just warm. Leaving these in the warm shouldn't have any impact. I could also pull these away and turn them, change them from this type of format to being crossways like this, and I could get more into the smaller area. But like I said, I'm a little bit rushed right now, so I just wanted to kind of knock this out and get it done. And I mentioned recently that this takes about 10 minutes. May have been slightly optimistic, it may be 15, but I know it's pretty quick. And still showing warm. The other thing here also, throw another stick on. The whole key is keeping an eye on percentages. Nothing's dropping. I'm holding it about 99. Check taste. I'm still hot. Crow is after my dinner, and I'm about ready. Really? Ever since the 0.5 update, they've become aggressively friendly, it seems. Hot raw. Hot raw. That one in the back showing hot raw. Okay, so adding those all up, they've all basically gotten to the hot except for this one on the corner here, which is a little bizarre. Oh, sorry, this one's not showing it either. These two down here are showing as warm. But these three down here are now in the hot area. It's like I said, it's a whole balancing act here and just kind of monitoring everything. And then, is it really worth the payoff? Being that metabolism's not fully implemented as yet, is it really worth the aggravation? Well, in my opinion, it's not really that much of an aggravation once you get the shit squared away. And this is pretty easy. But It's not something that you're going to do like in real life where you're going to, throw a couple steaks on the grill, you know, walk away, have a beer, come back, kind of keep a casual eye on it. You kind of really need to keep somewhat of a closer look on it, at least till you get it established. Once you get a pattern going, you can start knocking this stuff out pretty quick. Slightly cooked. Warm raw. Now, when I get those two guys that are on the hot side, three guys that are on the hot side, once they get cooked, I'm going to change the orientation a little bit so that I can get them more down in this area. Just got to watch my step here so that I'm not stepping in the fire. The other thing is you can actually see as these things cook, they will actually change color. And I just keep adding sticks every so often. Also, keeping a listen on the sound is another thing that works really well. Slightly cooked. When they get to the point of being cooked, they'll make a little bit higher sizzle noise. I'll try to shut my trap long enough so you can hear that. Okay, so I got a hot raw on the end in this guy, so that extra stick kind of did me a favor. As a way of what I normally do, once I get this established, the only reason I keep checking this so often is just for the demonstration of the video. Once you get it down and you've done it a few times and you're successful, it gets pretty easy. And, it becomes just kind of like, wow, okay, no big deal. So you kind of learn it by routine. And you can, run off and do other stuff. You just have to be mindful that once it goes to cook, it'll start to degrade very quickly, and if it drops below, I want to say 70%. Don't know which one of my items were destroyed. Don't think nothing I'm wearing. Okay, check taste. Shazam, we're cooked. So now for that, I'm going to put this puppy down here. This puppy, just from the color of him, he looks cooked. Check taste. Nope, he's slightly. But in the meantime, what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and do what I was saying, which is pull this bad boy over here, give him a slight spin on the wheel, move him to right there. Move him there. Come out of the inventory. Check taste. Shazam, Bob's your uncle. He's cooked. So that's done. So now you can take this, spin this bad boy around, get us some carb steaks up here on the grill as well now. So that's warm. And that's warm. Let's check these guys and see how they're doing. They're still showing hot, so I don't really need... Yeah, this guy's warm now. Warm. Okay, no worries. Come over here. Uncraft that puppy. Put in a small 6. And look at the fire again, and fuel with small wooden stick. Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about that. Yeah, don't let your stuff get too close to the fire because it will degrade it, destroy it. So. And of course now it's going to rain. So with that being said, we got check taste, hot slightly cooked, hot raw, This has gone warm again, so I need to move everything over here just a little bit. Probably have a little bit too much space here. Before I do that, though, let me check these guys. Check taste. Hot raw. Hot raw. Okay, so obviously my cutoff for warm is right here between this guy here, and there's a little bit of a gap there. So what I can do is scooch this bad boy down just a little bit. Check taste. Check taste. Slightly cooked. Don't know if it's just me or if it's actually true, but the fish do seem to cook faster. And as with some of the other little quirks of the game, it's better, in my opinion, to use the small sticks. It gives you a little bit more heat control. So that's why I cut the big sticks up into little sticks. I can throw 1 or 2 in there at a time, and slight little changes like that will result in this going from warm to hot. Leave all these guys going. I think it was this one that's getting pretty close. We're showing slightly cooked there. Now this guy should be done. Shazam, he's done. My brains would be dangerous. Here we go. He's done. So now I can throw another carp on the grill there. So I'm going to kind of keep this video short. You can see that it's working. I'll probably finish these guys off here. Actually, you know what would be a remarkably good idea would be to actually eat. Enjoy some of the fruits of the labor. So anyways, like I said, cooking, it's not completely broke dick, but it needs some rework to it. It needs some, some modification and some rethinking, and maybe a little bit of increasing to the UI. There's really, in my opinion, having to do this whole F and check taste is somewhat tedious and, quite frankly, a bit of a pain in the ass. It'd be nice if that percentage would also show cooking levels. I mean, in real life, if you know what you're doing with barbecues or grills, or have any type of experience with grills whatsoever, you can kind of look at it and tell, and then you can do a check taste or something along those lines to kind of look at it. Or if you're really anal about it, you use a temperature probe and check to make sure that your beef is getting to what is it, 145 internal temperature, whatever. But it does need some work. It needs some kind of indication as to what it is and how to do it would be nice also. Knowing what temperature your fire is, or being able to tell what temperature your fire is, or what this heat radius is. I mean, literally, we found this thing by total, Charlie Foxtrots all across the board. It's like, I think, 15, 20 times of doing fats, throwing fats on the Barbie here to get it to, and see, I've dropped a warm again on that outrigger. So at this point, I need to, it being, it took us a lot to basically tinker around with this, and it more was, I just refused to let a damn video game, it's something that this game has, incredibly, a lot of potential, and has a lot of, a lot of ingenuity and creativity built into it, and then all of a sudden you come up to something like cooking and it becomes this royal pain in the butt. I refused to let it beat me. There had to be a simpler way to do it, and if not, then I was just gonna, chuck it. In all honesty, probably not. But anyways, And we just hacked away at it and, really just found the way to do it. And when I finally found it, it's like, I was like, I was on the messenger with my squad mates, and it's like, fuck yeah, I got it. It works. And it's like, check this shit out. It's like, what'd you find? And then over the course of once we found how to make it work, you kind of start following it down that road and you start refining the process. And this so far is the quote unquote easiest way that we've found to do it. But again, is it really worth it? And just to kind of prove the point, this puppy here is showing as hot, slightly cooked, and this is warm and raw. All right, so there's only 2 steaks up there, so 6 of one, half dozen the other. Check taste on that one. And see, this is a good example. There's no way to basically tell. I don't know which one of these correspond to which one of these. Maybe I'm just being maybe I'm just being stupid. But here's the point I'm trying to make is this: if I go to this, total carbs 0, which is kind of weird. Protein's 26.5 grams. Now this guy here, he's almost cooked, and the grams are pretty much the same. There's really no difference between these two. So this guy is raw, and then if I come down here, it's pretty much the same thing. So until they fully implement metabolism, it doesn't really make a difference other than, like I said, it's like, I can say, hey, whoop-de-doo, I can cook in Scum. That and a couple of bucks, and I still can't buy freaking coffee, not that I would at Starbucks. So check taste on that, and it's slightly cooked. So like I said, I'm going to let these guys, actually, you know what, screw it, I'll at least finish these guys off. And of course, by moving that one, now it's updated and it's going to be slightly cooked. This guy's gone back to warm, most likely. Yep. Small wooden stick. The other thing is that I found is it's not to get frustrated at this. It's a freaking video game. If it's going to be something where it's just going to be a source of frustration, eat the damn raw meat. But if it's something that you can tinker with and, play around with it, have some fun with it, great, and knock yourself out. The same thing with the fishing. The fishing's really cool. I love fishing in real life. I'm not an avid fisherman. The area that I live in, I have access to fresh and saltwater fishing. Arguably some of the best saltwater fishing in the world. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't get out to do it very often because I'm stuck in a metropolitan area, or even worse, the blurbs of a metropolitan area. So, but again, getting to the saltwater fishing is not that hard, and the freshwater fishing is not that hard either. But anything to get out into this type of environment is a pretty good truck ride. So as you kind of move through this, now what are we at here? We're still showing 5 of 10. What I was mentioning about the frustration is not letting yourself get frustrated where you start throwing logs into this. If you throw too much wood into this, the fire basically peaks, the heat radius gets bigger and stronger, and your shit cooks really quick, and it will degrade very quickly. And one thing I just realized, I haven't shut my mouth long enough. Okay, so if you'll notice, I don't know if you could hear it, but listen to the sizzle now. I'm going to pull this steak off just so you can hear the difference. Now, I don't know how or if that'll come across on YouTube. And then I also think there's another one that's done. So, yeah, that one's done. Listen to this one. Hopefully that translated across all the YouTube compression crap fairly well. And that you can hear the sizzling or the cooking sound stop. That's another way to tell. So, that being said, now I can move this guy here. Dude, really? Over to there. That should bring him back in to the hot raw. This guy should be hot, slightly cooked. See, like I said, once you get it down into a pattern, you almost kind of know it instinctually. And it's just, it is not a cooking simulator. It's kind of like a really kind of bastardized version of a cooking, and won't even use the word simulator, but it is possible. It does work. Is it worth it? If you're starving and you don't have a grill set up, eat the frickin' raw meat. Right now, as long as metabolism isn't implemented, who cares? The same thing goes if I were to throw this on there and wolf down a bad steak or a slightly off or hell even completely rotten. Am I going to die from it? I don't see any sign of it. I haven't heard any. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I haven't heard anybody saying, and this one's cooked. I haven't heard anybody saying about anything where they've had an experience where it's causing them problems or issues. And if nothing else, it's like, hell, there's active charcoal in the game. So is this guy even close to? He's still hot and raw. Okay, this one wants to be the redheaded stepchild here. So I'm going to kind of dig my heels in the sand. I'm going to stick with the video until that one's done. And then I'm going to call it a day and knock off here. So I can get this pushed up to YouTube and, and just for, full disclosure, it's like, we're on a PvE server. Like I said, it's my buddies and I that run this. I'm not a gamer. They're a little bit more of gamers than I am. Neither one of the ones I'm thinking off the top of my head that are outdoorsy type, they're not streamers. This server is mostly private. The people that are on here are, people that we know. We were all involved in some milsim stuff, and that's how we all met and became, really good buddies in the virtual world. And so this server is one that, we kind of use for ourselves. But it's PvE. Nobody's shooting anybody. I'm not having to worry about some 14-year-old walking up with a shotty out from behind the rocks and blowing my freaking head off. I'm not a PvE person. Some people are. Great, more power to them. There's a couple other servers that I play on that are mixes, so it's PvE, PvP. Feudal's server, Mr. Feudal's server is one of them. Just because, like I said in the beginning, his bunch seems to be a really great community. Can't say enough good things about him. It's just overall, it's like, and there's a ton of people that in his community that stream as well. Archangel is one of them that I tend to frequent his streams quite often and harass him. And it's fun. Everybody does it in good fun. But this server is one that, we run around on. We built this base camp over here. And I have a few other videos that are on my YouTube channel that I've mostly put up there because friends and family have seen a video that I would put up to share amongst our buddies, because we'll flip a truck, roll a truck, have some kind of weird shenanigans going on, and friends and family will see it and they're like, what the hell is that you're doing? And it's like, oh, it's a game. What, you're playing around and taking a leak and pooping in the woods? And it's like, yeah, pretty much. It's like, but we're hunting and fishing too. And so it's like, oh, that's cool. So, and then trying to explain that verbally is always a pain in the butt. So it's like, screw it. I'll throw some videos up there and put that out there. And my guy likes to shadow box. I freaking hate that. Put your fist down, numbnuts. This guy should be cooked. Yep, he's cooked. All right. So that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to call it a day. There's a couple streamers that, like I said, that kind of spawned this conversation. One in particular that, it was just kind of cool getting on and watching his stream, and, you could kind of sense the frustration that was going on. So I felt really bad, and I'll, trying to remember looking through my phone here because I was stuck on the phone. I was actually doing that no thing when you're on the phone and doing other activities that is illegal to do at the same time. I was doing that, and I was trying to basically talk, or give advice, and it just wasn't translating very well. And I'll have that posted up in his Discord, and he'll know who he is. But for the life of me, God, I want to give him a shout out as well. Good grief, this sucks. I know I followed him on Twitch. Anyways, he was kind of the linchpin. It's happened with other streamers as well. And I'm sorry, I'm babbling here because I'm looking at the same time. I can walk and chew bubble gum, not well. Platypus. Oh crap, my pronunciation sucks. I'll just put his freaking Twitch link in the description. So a shout out to him. If you're watching this, I'm nobody on YouTube, so if anybody's interested in watching some interesting Scum videos, um, Platypus Morte um, is one. Archangel is another. Mr. Feudal Ray Kit. If you're looking for some really how-to guides, Ray Kit and Mr. Feudal are some others. Feudal has a great community. Platypus, he gave me his link to his Discord. I just joined up on it. I'll probably end up going over there before I try to hit the road tonight or tomorrow morning and post this up. So if you're watching this, hey, it was great watching your stream. I'll be back. I'll watch it as well. Um, you know, we'll go from there. And hopefully this video works well. If you got any comments, suggestions, hit me up under Discord. If anybody else has any comments or suggestions, throw it in the stuff down below, and we'll go from there. And other than that, like I said, have a good night. I'm going to call this done. I'm going to do the good old Smokey Bear thing here. And I thought I was going to... Oh, Shazbot. Going to promote good safety here. I'm going to go refill my frickin'... All right. Well, I was coming over here to refill my canteen with fresh water so that I could do the safety thing and promote a good image, but I'm just not that patient. So you know what? Screw you guys. I'm leaving the forest burn, and I'm gonna leave this forest fire, leave the fire burning. Hopefully, it doesn't burn down the forest. In the meantime, I'm gonna run inside here, close myself off, and we're gonna call this a shadow boxing dipshit. Call this a day. Thanks and have a good one, everybody.